Is there a way we like always want to start an episode?
Well, I'm trying to figure out the best way to sit.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, you know...
Don't pop the balloons.
I wouldn't.
Those are actually weirdly expensive.
I felt like the pillows were a good idea, but I think there might be too many now. No, that's fine. That's good.
Do you ever see a playground now and you think, like, fuck, if only that thing had been around, 25 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. There are like some in the area, aren't there? When we like walk to like Angel or whatever, there's some that are like under construction now. That look incredible. I don't really have that problem though. Like, I would go in a playground.
You would?
Yeah.
What would you think people would think?
I don't really care. Like, I would go on, like, where else?
I think, like, literally, if I go on a playground, somebody's going to call the police.
But where else would you go on a swing? You can't, like, get a swing.
Here's a great, the open letter to Hackney Council, adult swings. We need adult swings. And so how do you make clear that the swings are for adults?
Well, they're bigger.
And there's some like porn, there's a table with some porn on it.
Yeah.
There's like a bar.
There's a vodka there.
There are pole dancers next to it.
Yeah, there's pole dancers.
Yeah, it's a triple X swings.
Yeah. No, but they're like
that would be fun actually. That would be like kind of camp.
Well, like in Shoreditch, like it's very popular now, isn't it, to have like an adult ball pit?
Don't fucking get me started about when I walk back those places. When I walk past those places, or if I'm on the 243 going like into the city, and you pass that ball pit bar, and there are like, huge men coming out the door vomiting onto the street, and that there are just cesspools of like those plastic McDonald's balls covered in all kinds of new diseases and microbes.
Well, that's true, because that's like the concern with those for kids anyway, because we used to go to one, there was one like down the road from me, like when I was a kid, this like amazing indoor ball pit thing. And I distinctly remember it being like disgusting. Even as a kid, like I remember there being like, I remember seeing like a shit in there.
Yeah, turds, syringes, hypodermics. They found a hypodermic in our local McDonald's when I was a kid, and then they got rid of the balls after that. And they replaced it with truly rock hard plastic floors, and then these like big bumper things, and you would just like run into them and immediately collapse on the ground. And that was McDonald's corporate. That was them putting their heads together. They put their play place think tank came up with, as a solution to ball pits, let's have big bumpers that kids can launch themselves into, concuss themselves on the hardest ground we can fabricate. Then they'll be running back to their parents, blood coming out of their ears, screaming for chicken nuggets.
But I've been to one of those adult playthings. I have.
How was it?
It was interesting. So it was like for a friend's birthday. Like I think it was about 6 years ago. My friend Stella. She's
might have to bleep that out.
No, we don't. She knows.
Stella, she's that kind of girl.
Yeah.
She likes the PR.
Yeah, she loves
She loves the shout out. Tag her.
Shout out to Stella. But yeah, so it was when I was living in Brighton, and it isn't in Brighton. You'd think it would be in a place like that, but you have to like get on several trains. It's kind of like out in the middle of nowhere.
That sounds like hell on earth. That sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard.
It was really stressful, because also we were like constantly worrying about how we were going to get back. So it was like impossible to actually enjoy it. Because when you're a kid and you go to those places, it's literally like you don't have any concern in the world. All you care about is like you said, eating chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Like trying not to shit yourself.
Making friends.
Well, I didn't really have that experience.
You didn't make friends up in those tubes?
No, I found them quite intimidating places.
I formed gangs. I formed collectives.
But this place
I found tribes and found families up in those little, like sometimes there would be a bigger room between the tubes.
And you found your chosen family there.
We would form like a council, a board of directors.
But the adult one, it had like a big slide, but it's like a wall, and you go up and you drop off, and you fall for literally about a few seconds, and then it kind of really slowly curves into a slide.
Oh, it's like one of those vertical water slide things, but there's no water.
There's no water.
And are you holding a drink in your hand while you do that?
You're not supposed to, but they serve alcohol there and beef burgers. And I say beef burgers because I don't mean like a burger. I think there's a very particular type of like British burger that you might not be aware of. I don't know.
I don't eat meat.
No, neither do I.
Sounds like you do.
No, I don't.
Sounds like you're addicted to Angus beef burgers.
Beef burgers. Yeah. I just feel like in America, right, they call it hamburger, right? They have like that's kind of like the thing. It's like wow.
I think that's just colloquial. Like I think it's still beef.
But they don't call it a beef burger.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
They say that.
But that sounds so British. Beef
I
burger.
think it's just because the only time you've been to America was when you went to Florida on 9/11.
Yeah. Beef burger and beans. Right? Don't you think that sounds like really...
I have not noticed in my kind of extensive exposure to the British and American kind of lexicons around burger culture.
Yeah.
I have not noticed many differences in the way people talk about burgers in the two places.
See, I feel like when I watch like American media, like movies and stuff, I feel like I hear a lot of hamburger.
What are you watching?
Like things
like
from
Hamburglar content?
No, but like hamburger, cheeseburger.
From the 80s?
Yeah.
Times have changed.
But beef burger sounds like something you would order in a Wimpy.
No, beef burger is America too.
Is it really?
I think so. I mean, listen, I don't know.
Yeah, that indoor play park for adults, it sounds like such a weird thing to say, but...
It sounds like a liminal space. It sounds like a back room. It sounds like something that a 12-year-old on TikTok would create in Blender.
Yeah,
I mean, put that music... How does that spooky music go?
The TikTok music.
Yeah, the spooky TikTok music. What's the famous one that we like?
I can't hum it.
No, it doesn't go like that either. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. I suppose it is like that. Probably when it closes, it's like a... Do you know what? I'm actually not on board with the whole liminal spaces thing. I'm not like a fan of it.
I don't know if it's about being a fan. I think it's about accepting it.
No, but as in the horror sphere, because like I just don't find hallways scary.
Well, you did fall asleep during Skinamarink.
Well, exactly.
And that movie is about hallways being scary.
Yeah, like corridors and hallways and spaces without people in them doesn't actually freak me out that much. Like I've been in a hotel.
I think though it's a different like affect. I think it's a different set of feelings that make that horrific, and it's like a new type of horror in that like it's a dull kind of like what's horrifying about it is that it doesn't make you feel deeply in any one direction or another. It's like the very mutedness of it is what's so horrifying about it.
Yeah, I suppose, like, don't get me wrong, like, it definitely, like, achieves, because I used to watch them on YouTube, like the ARG kind of things, and I like them, like, stylistically, but I guess what I'm saying is I just personally don't find it conceptually scary.
You like a clown with a chainsaw.
I don't find clowns scary either. That's the other thing.
What else is there to be scared of? Demons? Demonic possession?
Ghosts.
You're a ghost girl.
I'm a ghost girl. Where are my ghost girlies?
Hashtag ghost girly.
My ghouls.
Your ghoulish squirrels.
My ghouls. Welcome to Jen's Ghoul School. But yeah, no, I'm into into a haunting. Like a Victorian style chilling, or a poltergeist.
You like Jane Eyre?
I don't really like Jane Eyre, but I like the vibe of that. You know, I like a classic ghost.
Casper.
No, I don't like Casper. He's too bald.
Who's the most classic ghost out there?
Like a real ghost.
Yeah, scientifically proven.
Scientifically proven real ghost is probably the one that springs to my mind. There's like this famous photograph of like an old man driving a car, and then in the back seat of the car, there's like an old lady, but she's dead. She's like not like she's been dead ages.
I love how like in the Victorian era, people would like go to scientists and be like, I need to like say something to my relative, and the scientist would be like, I have a new machine, It's called a camera.
Yeah.
And I'm going to photograph you in it, and then your dead relative's going to be in it. And then there would be like a smudge on it, and then the scientist would be like, that's your Nan.
Yeah. But how?
We found her again.
Maybe it was.
But that makes me also think that like someday in the future they're going to look at like MRIs and CT scans and be like, they were so thick. They thought that was medicine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But what if in the future they look at MRI scans and they see a ghost in it?
I think that's what they're already doing. I get a nose job.
Why?
I don't know, I've been thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like my profile.
Oh. Well, I mean, I have had a nose job. So it would be...
Do you recommend?
Super hypocritical of me to say no.
Because you also signed you signed a waiver when you got a nose job that you have to proselytize. You
do have to, and you have
to go out into the world.
I get 20%.
Yeah,
I get 20% at my clinic.
Should I?
I just go around shaming everybody's noses.
You've never shamed my nose.
No, of course not. Why would I? So it's a very like.
I just have an imperfect nose, but sometimes as an actor, I think maybe I need to have a perfect nose.
It's a real minefield. Like, it's an extremely personal decision. You know, it's like I genuinely don't believe that anybody should do something like that on the whim of somebody else. Like, if you want one, you'll get one. Like, no, but it's true.
You said that like it's like a spiritual truism.
But it is true.
If you want a nose job, you shall receive. You shall receive.
Well, have you tried asking the universe for one?
This is me like, I'm 12. You shall receive.
I feel like what would be more appropriate is, rather than me telling you whether or not you should get a nose job, is that I can like answer any questions that you have about the process.
No, I just want you to tell me whether you think I should get a nose job.
Then yes.
It's something I'm thinking about, but then like I think like look at like Lady Gaga, look at Barbara Streisand. They didn't get nose jobs and they made that work for them.
Yeah, of course. Like it's I mean, so the reason why I got a nose job would be different from the reason why you're getting a nose job. Like, and that is important to specify, because like the reason I got was like
nose cancer.
Yes. No, like facial feminization. Like the most affordable area of facial feminization that I could have,
right? Because
I can't afford all the like jaw and forehead and whatever. I wish one day I'll be able to get my face hoisted up and ripped off, pulled over, the skin pulled over my skull, yanked off. That's what they literally do. But yeah, like, you know, in terms of acting, like so many actors have good, like when I say good, I mean like characterful noses. Like, you don't have to have a perfect.
Do you think I have a characterful nose?
I think that's a nice way of like saying it. No, not you. No. I don't mean for you. I just mean in general. Like, saying a characterful nose is like that's a nice way to think about it, rather than saying I don't have the perfect nose that an actor is supposed to have, because I don't really know what that is.
Do you think my nose is going to hurt me in my career?
No, I really don't.
You don't?
I don't see why it would.
I want you to be perfectly honest right now.
Yeah. Why would it?
I don't know. It's just, it has a bump.
Yeah, I used to have a bump.
Maybe I should get one.
There are like different types of nose job.
Yeah.
There are like some that are like slightly more intrusive and some that are less intrusive. And I just went for like the most intrusive one, where they literally take your nose off. Like it comes up and then they like do the bone and but it doesn't when you wake up from it, like, it doesn't hurt. It's just very uncomfortable.
But even the healing, does it continue to not hurt, or does it start to hurt at some point?
It does start to hurt, but it's like a numb, aching hurt that comes in, and it's I have to say that like, it's interesting because like if you get like a breast augmentation, that's like a day surgery. You're like in and out in a few hours, and you're pretty much fine. There's like a few things you have to be careful of, but generally you're sort of like, you can go about your life as regular. But with a nose job, it would put you out of commission for a while.
I think there is truly nothing chicer on this earth than healing from a nose job.
Oh, I was like I have like photos somewhere of me like in the back of a cab, like with my Nosejobs stuff on and like sunglasses.
That's so chic.
I think if your nose gives you anxiety and displeasure and you want to change it, then yes. But I think if you're doing it just because you're thinking about your career, maybe it's not the best decision.
I think it does give me anxiety and displeasure, but sometimes I also think it's the sort of thing that when you get older, then like you'll look back and be like, oh, I'm glad I stuck it out.
What,
keeping my nose as it is, yeah. If, you know, for my purposes.
For your purposes, yeah. I think some people genuinely would argue that, but for me personally, when I look back on any old photo, I'm like,
you're glad.
Yeah. But they're very different scenarios.
It's very different. That's why I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for me.
That's something you have to think on.
I am.
You can't hurry.
But also, like, I can't do it too late in my acting career, actually. Like, it has to be within the first few times that my image is reproduced in, like, widely distributed materials. Otherwise, my likeness will change. Do you know what I mean?
But also, is it not equally as much of a benefit to have, like, a kind of unconventional appearance as opposed to not looking like a clone?
Exactly, it is, and especially because my casting is always going to be like characterful. People are always going to cast me in something to play like a character. Yeah. Nobody's going to cast me to be like, you know, a model or like a sex icon.
Never say never.
I don't think they will. But that's being realistic, actually. That's like the industry teaches you have to actually know that and accept those things. It's not me being like cynical or self-loathing. It's like radically accepting that as true.
Yeah.
And that's important. As an actor or like a performer or whatever, you have to like know what you are giving. And that's not a reflection of your value as a person. That's the challenge. Is not letting those things become intertwined. And that's the hard work, is not letting that make you feel like that's your value when you're not working. But when you are working, you are just like a set of characteristics actually that a casting director is looking at. And like if you're trying to convince yourself that you have certain characteristics that you don't, like that's going to end up hurting you more.
An important thing to consider as well is like, I mean, like, yeah, your nose is your nose, but like how will it affect the whole shape of your face?
Exactly.
Because it will, and your nose is like the center of your face, so it
for most people.
For most people, yeah. There are a few exceptions, but yeah, so it's an important decision.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make any decisions right now because feels like you haven't fully. Like I said, I genuinely think if like with any elective cosmetic surgery, if you want it, and if someone wants it, they'll get it. Like, that's the thing. It's like, so for me, all those, like, I wanted them always, and I was just waiting to be able to like afford to get them. If you're in a position where you can afford to have them or can potentially afford to have them and you still haven't done it, it's, yeah, you're clearly like unsure.
Well, I know the clinic I would go to. It's in Los Angeles.
Really? Why that one?
I just think he does beautiful work.
Yeah, do you follow him on Instagram?
I do,
yeah.
I mean, I've gone pretty far, and like this is pretty premeditated.
Yeah, sure. No, I can tell that it is.
It's on genuinely. It's more than anything. It's what you were saying. It's like, is this something that like is the right choice? Is it something that ultimately is gonna like suit me? All of those things. I don't want to look like a clone. I also think that like, you know, for those like purely like cosmetic, showbiz adjacent purposes, like that's such an LA thing right now. But like people already say like, you know, that's also there are fashion trends, and that like LA face that everybody wants to have, that's gonna go out of style again. And like there is a part of me that thinks like, oh, I don't want to do it just because it's an aesthetic thing that is temporary, and then in 30 years. People are going to be like, my God, I wish I hadn't like made myself look like a Kardashian.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
But on the flip side, like compared to like a lot of other like surgeries that exist now and a lot of other trends that
BBL.
exist. Well, I just mean even...
I had mine removed.
I just mean even like facially, like, you know, buckle and all that kind of stuff. Like a nose job feels, in my opinion, like pretty old hat now. Yeah. A nose job is like something that was like a mid-90s sort of meme.
Yeah.
So it's like,
true.
I think if you get a nose job, you don't then suddenly look like a Kardashian. You know, like they have like a lot of work done. It's just one thing. I mean, you can see that like I don't look like a Kardashian.
No. But it's a specific then thing that you're going for if you're doing that like LA thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that LA thing is like an extreme.
Yeah, I love it too.
Archetype. But
I'm aware that it's probably going to go out of fashion again.
Yeah, of course it will. Yeah, it will.
It's really interesting. I read this thing that said like one of the reasons that the Kardashians are now like having all their like stuff removed is because access to plastic surgery has become so widespread and democratized that like it's not elite anymore.
That's really interesting. So now like the eliteness would be like the complete opposite.
Yeah. Isn't that sick and twisted?
That is fucked up, actually.
Yeah.
Because they set the precedent.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, you can't afford to get it removed.
Exactly. / like, yeah, just how can we use our like, you know, far superior and more extensive like material resources to create, you know, disparity.
Yeah.
And embed that in aesthetics, which is why I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. Aesthetics are morals. I'm always saying that at parties.
You
because listen, do you feel the same thing when you smash a spider as when you smash a butterfly?
I would never smash a spider.
Think on it.
I would never do that.
Think on it. I would.
Yeah, no, I know you hate them.
I'm deeply arachnophobic. I was bitten by a black widow spider when I was a child. I passed out, and the problem was I loved spiders before that. I would put spiders in jars and then take them home as pets. And I was trying to handle the black widow, and then it bit me. And ever since then, I've had truly paralyzing arachnophobia.
If you'd have grown up in this country, you wouldn't, because we have nothing that can hurt you.
Well, except fascists.
We have those.
Do you know what's crazy? When I take 2 of these, I have the worst night's sleep of my life.
Really?
Yeah. I slept so badly last night.
Let me see them. Oh, these are your yummies.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the ones I actually like.
No, they're different.
Oh, I need to actually ask my mom to bring me some of the ones I love.
It says serving size 2 gummies.
Yeah, you shouldn't. But I'm very sensitive for that kind of thing.
Are these American ones?
No, they're from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But they're okay?
They're okay. I don't love them.
I don't like the design of them. They're like wine gums.
Yeah, and they stick to your teeth.
Yeah, I like the ones that you gave me in Edinburgh that were like multicolored.
Oh.
Like they were like
Skittles?
Yeah.
Oh, those are those are antacid.
Oh yeah. No, they were gummy bears.
Oh yeah, the gummy bears. Those are my favorite. But you can only get those in America.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my mom maybe bring some.
Yeah, you definitely should. Because you can't even order them, can you?
No. She's coming over to see my pornographic play that I'm in.
Yeah.
Full nudity, full frontal. I asked them not to come.
Did you really?
Yeah, I said, I don't think you should come and see this.
But they'll love it.
They will. I mean, it's really lovely that they're coming.
Like their child is on
their child
the stage.
Is getting naked in front of thousands of perverted old gay men.
I mean, that's the dream.
That is the dream.
That's what every parent wants for their child.
My parents, back in 1982, it's January 1992, I'm 2 months old. Sorry, 1993. They're standing over my crib, and my mom's like, Scott, what do you think he's gonna be? What do you think he's gonna amount to? And my dad said, do you know what, Kel? He's gonna get his dick out on stage in London, England for thousands of people. And that will be what he amounts to.
I think it's beautiful. I can't wait to see
That is the American dream.
I do think it's amazing that you have the sort of body confidence to do something like that.
Let me tell you something about the body confidence. I have had to dig deep here because I am on stage with people who look like physically like models.
Adonises.
Yeah. And I do not. They sit around sometimes and talk about how many DMs they're getting from old men saying they're beautiful. And they're like, it's so annoying. Like, oh my God, I've had to like turn off my notifications. Have you guys too? And then the others are like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And I immediately like see if anybody's messaged me, and they haven't. So I'm still waiting for that one pervy old guy who's gonna think that I'm the belle of the ball.
Are you the only one in the play who is like full frontal?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Everybody is.
Oh, three of us are of the four.
Okay.
But I'm like the comedy goblin clown.
Yeah, and that's the best person to be.
Whose characters refer to how ugly they are.
I think that's the best person.
There's this one section. There's all these sex scenes, obviously, and we all have these like kind of like interlude monologues, and we're behind this glass, and the glass like goes opaque, and then suddenly it opens up, and you can see us stood there, and like we kind of like narrate these little moments during sex scenes. And in some scenes, when I do a little monologue, like you can see everybody in the auditorium like turn to look at me. And I have this one where like two of the guys are having this like very intricately choreographed, fully nude sex scene with this like music and lights, and it's very like horny. And they're humping, and then can we swear on this pod? And then
yeah, you can say humping.
Humping, that's the upper
That's
limit,
it though.
yeah.
Nothing else, please.
This is a family program. And the window opens and I start doing this monologue, and like I feel like if you like went into the audience and tried to physically turn their heads, like you would break your wrists. Like people, I bet they're thinking like put a bag over that clown.
I doubt it.
This is so distracting. Shut up.
Tell the people what your schedule is like at the moment.
8 shows a week.
2 a day.
2 a day on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Matinee Sunday. Evening show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday's my only day off.
You're living it. You're living the actor's life.
Living the actor's life. I really am loving it.
Yeah, it's great. It's so exciting.
It's nice.
You're treading the boards. Are there actually boards?
No.
What kind of a stage is it?
Just like a raised platform.
Yeah. It's annoying when people try and say a thing is a stage, but it's not a stage.
Oh, the world's a stage.
Well, yeah. I mean, did you coin that?
Mm-hmm.
That's really
I
good.
think I wrote that in a poem.
I didn't know you wrote poems.
Mm-hmm.
I like you less now.
I write very serious poems. I'm always scribbling. I'm always jotting down. I always, this is just a constant flow of ideas up here. And I'm always just writing down little sonnets, little haikus, little limericks.
What's the
acrostics?
What's the worst stage that you've ever been on?
What do you like architecturally?
Yeah, like I've been on some pretty like pathetic excuses for a stage before.
Well, I mean, we've done shows that are like hour-long narrative, like theatrical shows, like in pubs where they have those little, podiums that are actually meant for like people giving presentations.
Yeah,
and we've done like full theatrical multi-rolling performances on those, and then like done costume changes like behind a little fat scrap of cloth.
But see, what I used to do is like if I was doing a gig and they had one of those stages, I just wouldn't use it.
What would you do?
I'd like go in front of it. And I'd make a really big deal about it as well.
You'd like comment on
I
it?
would say
what would you say?
I would say like, I hope you don't mind, I'm gonna come down there. Cause this up here ain't it.
What's the best stage you've ever been on?
I actually don't like stages.
What do you like?
I like to be on the same level. I don't mean that in any kind of like metaphorical way, because obviously I'm not on the same level as them. But I mean...
Shade rebel.
But I mean, I just like to be on the ground. I think it's like there's a certain amount of like looking down that you do, and I think when you're on a stage, it's like too extreme.
That's why 2 North down is really annoying.
It's too high.
I like to lie down while I'm doing a set.
Yeah, you're like how Mark Maron likes to sit.
I like to lie on the floor.
Yeah.
But not like on pillows or anything, like just on a straight floor. I like to lie down.
I've seen you do that.
Yeah.
Like, in all seriousness. I do hate it when comedians sit down, though. Like, it's such an affectation. It's so, like, irritating.
Who does that?
There are loads of, like, male comics on the London scene who just, like... It's like a flex. It's like showing... It's like a posturing of, like, showing how confident they are before they start. It's, like, actually a very, like, interesting technique. It, like, does work. It, like, communicates comfort. And I do a different version of that, which is...
On a tricycle.
Yeah, I do a lap on the stage first.
Like, what's the clown? What's that little puppet in the Saw movies?
Oh, isn't he just called the Saw Clown? The Saw Man?
I think he has a name.
Oh, Jigsaw. Yeah.
You start every set by coming on a little tricycle that's like...
Yeah, okay. Wanna play some comedy? Wanna hear a joke? It's gonna be torture.
There's always somebody in the front row who realizes in that moment that they have this huge like bear trap on their head.
If you don't laugh,
the key is in my belly.
Put your hand in my asshole.
Don't touch my thighs or I'll come.
Yeah. But it's like they do that. They sit down to like do that to like be like, I want you guys to know that I'm just so comfortable.
See, I don't think I'm allowed in those spaces. You're allowed in so many more like serious, real comedy spaces. Nobody lets me in them.
I have been in some. Yeah. I mean, I'm not allowed in all of them. There are certain places that
banned.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, I do get to mingle with
the greats. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the Wine Mom podcast.
It was great. I had a lovely time.
And do you know what? I did too.
Me too, Derek.
Same. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you'll tune in to more episodes.
Yeah, we're gonna do like one a week.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
So follow and subscribe. Our socials are winemom everywhere.
And wine-mom.com for the website.
Yeah.
But we have short films and things that we've made. Also, if you enjoyed the podcast, we have a Patreon. And if you subscribe to that, you can get access to longer episodes and extra stuff from us.
And nudes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your support.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.